you notice in lunges that there's some instability or a different feeling between right foot forward versus left foot forward, and maybe one side feels a little less stable, or you just feel a big dominance in the quads as you do that, and you want to kick on the hamstrings, glutes a little bit, just this one intention, one small engagement might change your experience. So if you had your lunge, whichever foot forward, the distance between the feet that makes sense for your body, and you're just lifting and lowering without a lot of intention. It might be a little wobbly. You might notice the pelvis kind of rotates at different point in that motion. So before you begin, you're going to imagine that the front heel and the back toes are hugging in towards each other. So there's tension using the floor to hug the feet together and create some wrap of the hips forward. It's not necessarily to be fully square for pure alignment, but to feel the activation of the back of the left leg pulling you forward and a bit of that inner thigh shifting the right hip forward. Right, so that is your baseline of hug between front foot and back foot. Will give you a lot more connection to inner thighs, to backs of the legs as you lower. Now, to kick on the backs of the legs more, if you take a moment of hover at the bottom, press the front heel down, and think about the heel zipping up towards the sits bone, that will give you a lot more connection to the backs of the legs as you lift and lower. And maybe you hold on to that sense of tension on the way down as well. Drive into the heel and think almost of this shin, this calf, pulling backwards in space, that the straightening isn't coming straight up, but the straightening of the knee is hugging backwards and lifting the leg up. That's going to change the dynamics of where you feel this motion. Of course, doing that on both sides, you might notice one side is different than the other, that one side you might find a natural rotation of the hips squaring forward with more ease. If that's the case, which it is for me with my right leg forward, I'm going to think of driving a bit more through the outer side of my foot as I lift and lower, so that there's a slight opening of the left hip rather than a sinking down. And I'm feeling this outer hip, instead of sinking to the side, the outer foot is driving down to shift the pelvis a little bit to the left and keeping that position as I lift and lower. So the intention of hug could still be there between front foot and back heel, but you might need to counter that a bit on one side with outer foot pressure and being mindful of the natural rotation of the pelvis and where you might work into some resistance to create some change.